So this task is going to be the first task covered in the exam over chapter 14 material, and the student will be using VBA code to create a custom function to calculate sales tax. So what is going to be used? That will be the Visual Basic editor window, and the student will need to know how to write lines of code using the information given in the instructions, as well as add a few columns to the original data set. So they're provided a bit of background on the data information, which has to do with avocado sales. And they're told that inside the Visual Basic editor window, they are to create a new function procedure to calculate tax for each sale. The name of the function will be sales tax, and they're going to use avocado sales as the value the calculation will be performed on. The data type will be as currency. They'll also need to insert a comment and use 8.25% as the overall tax rate. We're eventually going to have them paste their code inside some specific cells, L2 through L5, just to make it easily visible and see on the worksheet that they use the correct code. And so how are we going to complete this task? The student will be given the start file. We see that there are some green spaces, which is where they're going to insert their information, paste the code for task 1. And so we see avocado sales is not provided, but we can calculate that from the data, and tax is going to be what we're going to calculate from the custom function we make. So the first thing we do is go to the developer tab and open up the Visual Basic editor window. And the student is going to need to know to create a new module. And so we're going to select the project that we have open and insert a module. Now we're going to want to name this. There really is no ideal or alternative solution for the name that they give the module, just something more specific. Module 1 would give us some more information. So for our cases, we're going to call this function procedure chapter 14. Notice that there are no spaces, and then we'll jump inside the code window. So this is where they would start typing their code, how they're going to complete the task. And because they have to create a function procedure, they would need to know to first declare that it is a function procedure by typing the word function and spelling it correctly. We'll see in a moment as we jump to the next line of code. Code is read line by line in Excel. We'll see that hopefully some of the words highlight themselves in blue, function as well as the data type, and then we will know that most likely we entered it correctly. So first we'll declare that it's a function procedure, and then we need to name it. So we are told to name it sales tax. And then we need to specify the name of the values of the calculation will be performed on. In our case, that's going to be avocado sales. And so we'll open up our parentheses, write avocado sales, and give it a data type. So as parentheses, we see it pop up, we can just go ahead and tab to select it. Make sure we close up our parentheses. If we don't close up our parentheses, we'll get this error. And we know that it was expecting us to close it up. So close up the parentheses, enter the next line. We see that function and as currency highlighted themselves in blue as we were expecting. The next thing we're told to do is to add a comment. We'll just say this function will multiply the amount by 8.25%. If we're not, the instructions do not tell the student exactly what words to use. We just need to insert a comment that explains that the function will multiply the sales amount by the tax rate. And so we're going to be extra specific in our case and say that it's 8.25%. Go ahead and hit enter, and we'll see that this comment highlights itself in green, which it did. So that was entered properly. The student needs to know that we start comments with a single quotation or this apostrophe in order for the VBA to recognize it as a comment. So now we're going to actually type what we want it to perform. We need to spell it correctly. We declared our function as sales tax. So we'll set that equal to the avocado sales times our 8.25%. We need to insert it as a decimal. And then we see that spaces were inserted. So hopefully it means it's going to run properly, which we'll see in a moment. We'll go ahead and delete that space since it's unnecessary. And the function automatically ended itself. So let's save. Go back to our data set. And the first thing that we will do is we will insert the avocado sales. We'll calculate them. So we'll just take the average price times the total volume sold. Enter. Now we need to calculate the tax. We'll start typing for our function. We see it populates. And then we'll grab the avocado sales, close over parentheses. And the instructions specify that they need to change the data type to as currency. So we need to change it from general to as currency. Excel is going to think for a moment as it's calculating the sales tax for this column. It should automatically fill all the way down. And so what did the results mean? The results mean that the sales tax was calculated on each sale. So we were taking the 85,000 and multiplying by the 8.25% to get about 7,000. You could do a mental check or calculate one of them to make sure that that is indeed what happened. In our case, it looks like it already went ahead. We'll just want to double check and then format it as currency. The last thing we need to do is hop back into the Visual Basic Editor window so we can Control-C and copy our code and paste it in here. So thank you so much.